As you know, I am Dr. Venugopala Rao, a political scientist and a psephologist. I head a research foundation and a center by name Center for Psephologist Studies. Today, we are going to talk about observations of Sri Jagan Reddy's governance and Andhra Pradesh politics. It is important because Jagan Reddy Garu is completing almost his 6 months role after he came to the power. Let us first talk about Andhra Pradesh current politics. As a political scientist, I will give few observations. Let me first say the politics of Andhra Pradesh is running around the politics of negative propaganda of the opposition parties and the politics of commitment by YSRCP head Sri Jagan Reddy. Why I am terming the politics of opposition as the politics of negative propaganda? Because they are not having positive approach on the governance path that is taken by the Andhra Pradesh government. The politics of propaganda is running, negative propaganda is running in such a way, whatever the steps that are taken is being criticized unjustly by the opposition parties, basically the Telugu Desam party. Actually, even all the opposition parties are caught unawares when Jagan Reddy has started his path of fulfilling the promises, the commitments he has made before he came into the power. The politics of negative propaganda is going on in such a way that even where there are no issues are being made by the Telugu Desam party. For example, when there was no much issue on the agricultural side, first they took up issue of distributing seeds to the farmers. They made such a hallagulla that the government is incapable of providing seeds to the farmers. First one has to understand that the problem lied with the previous TDP government itself. There were crores of rupees are to be paid to the seed distributing agency, they were not paid. So it took inordinate delay in paying them and then getting the seeds. And so when the problem lies with them, but they try to accuse the finger at the CM Jagan Reddy Garu. But later on, once the dues were paid, the issue was solved. So also unnecessary cacophony that is being created on the sand issue also. Sand issue was basically it was unavailability due to the heavy floods and other rains that had come, and they took a contradictory position saying that these guys were YSRCP guys are selling them in the black in other states. They were making a contradictory statement that when the sand is available in another state, why it is not available here? When there was no availability, how could these people sell it outside in the black? So the question is that there had no issues at all, and they are trying to do the propaganda in such a way that they try to do that. Actually, being an opposition is very important in a democracy. They should perform the role in such a way that it should be positive and also guide whenever required and also criticize wherever it is there. But they are taking in a different path because this particular government is doing as per the commitments that are made by its chief Jagan Reddy Garu. So the point is that how one has to observe, give some time and then take on to the government if they are going on wrong. But from the initially, through the help of the media, they are trying to project it in a negative way that is wrong. So also the other opposition parties like Jansena, which is definitely trying to move into the people unlike earlier times, but also trying to catch them in a wrong way. For example, in issues like introducing English medium in the primary schools, one has to wait and see its effect and then take on. Otherwise, unnecessarily trying to throttle the commitment whatever that is made by the present government. So also the BJP is trying to play the mind game in such a way that they all are joining in their party. But it is not a question of mind game. People are very clear. People are very intelligent in the state who is doing what. So instead of doing that, better they take the positive approach and then guide the young and dynamic chief minister and see that you will get the credibility in the long run. That is my submission, and I hope you understand the point in which the politics are being run in Andhra Pradesh. Now, how can we term the politics of YSRCP-led government as the politics of commitment? Politics of commitment because whatever that are made before the elections, for which the mandate was given to the Jagan Garu, is being implemented in the shape of implementing the welfare schemes that are Navaratnalu. Navaratnalu, from the day one, he started implementing it by framing the guidelines and also by making the policy framework for the implementation of Navaratnalu. It is surprising that the insight that came to make the governance at the grassroots level by making it in a new and novel and innovative way by CM Jagan Garu. The point is that one has to understand the perspective and the spirit that is being laid by the present government, because the present government, as CM told, that it will be reformistic. So when the reforms are going on, he is catching up to the time in which it is to be implemented, and it is innovative because it is not that easy to entirely transform the governance into the system where it will be useful to the people. The present bureaucracy, which is rule bound, is always try to delay the things, but in spite of that, the speed in which it is going and the spirit in it is going is really applaudable. The way the village secretariat employees being appointed, the way the volunteers are appointed, and presently the survey that is going on for the identification for making the beneficiaries to be the welfare schemes to be distributed to the beneficiary at the doorstep is a very novel step, and identifying it very transparently without any controversies and putting it in the public and then getting it ratified the Gram Sabha, all that is absolutely democratic, absolutely transparent, absolutely reformistic, absolutely dynamic. The way the commitment that went on for the last 6 months, if you passionately observe, the way probably almost 4 days in a week the review meetings are going on, and almost 6,682 GOs are passed to implement these schemes. That means to say that the commitment is there for the schemes to be implemented, for the welfare schemes that are to be implemented. The governance is just in the process of just starting. It will take time to see the fruits, but once these things are implemented, there is a need for the third party agencies to see how these things are being implemented. So through the third party evaluations, government will get to know to make the corrective mechanisms if things are going on. So that's how the governance has started in a very, very fruitful way. The schemes which are being implemented is also very, very applaudable, because all the Navaratna, for example, in the education sector, the Ammavadi in the education sector, the infrastructure facilities and then housing facilities, the boarding and then scholarship facilities. It's a very novel step, and it is a very bold step. Introduce the English medium schools by not forgetting the mother tongue, that is Telugu. If one has to see whether just in a compulsory Telugu language will be sufficient to protect the culture and then heritage, and then the students will learn. If at all anything go wrong, there is always possibility to change the GOs, but criticizing at the very initial stages of itself might be wrong. One has to understand the spirit in which it is going on, given the competitive society, and when the language is compulsory, Telugu language, probably the law that is thought about might not be there, but even then one has to see, but the spirit is very applaudable, because it will cater to the weaker sections and see that they will come on to the line with other sections of the society. And so also we have been seeing as a social scientist that how difficult it is for poor children to continue the education. They get dropouts because of the economic reasons. But once this sort of scholarships are given, once to their parents, this Ammavadi, definitely there would be rise in the enrollment. There will not be dropouts. They would study, and then primary education would be good. And also through the programs like Nadu, Nedu of the schools would also improve their infrastructure. So that's how the education field is taken off, and I am sure the results would come in the days to come. Now let us get into the health, in which another emphasis which is going on. The health schemes are also very good. The Argyasri schemes is applaudable, because it is the eligible criteria is being even given to the throne, open to the middle classes also, and the way the middle classes going to be benefited by Argyasri is because they have increased the eligibility criteria, and the way that it is open to other cities also for getting the hospitalization services is very, very appreciative, and I hope the health benefits will come to the people in the long term to come, in the long days to come. At the same time, infrastructure of the PHC is also to be taken up by the present Chief Minister. That would also help for the people in the health front. And coming over to the welfare of the pensions, Asara and all that, it's all doubled, and their eligibility criteria is also changed to suit to the needy, and then beneficiaries are being identified. And so also the farmers agriculture front, enormous Raitu Bharasa is a very, very comprehensive scheme. He has thought about in such a way where there is not only the crop investment, crop insurances, and also the quality of seed supply, and also the crop remuneration prices, and also input subsidies, and also see to that the current is given without interruption for 9 hours, and clearing the pending dues of the previous government, and also celebrating the Farmers' Day. All these things, show the commitment of the present government on the farmers' welfare. So, and with regard to the commitment for the fees reimbursement is being, guidelines are formed, comprehensively it is going to be covered. So you take whatever the schemes that are mentioned in the Navaratnalu, it is process is going on through identification, and the commitment that way it is going on is applaudable, but one has to see once it comes to the ground how perfectly it would go on. So also the commitment is shown in terms of paying to the agri-gold victims, and so also the burrows for the fishermen. To speak very perspectively, the welfare front is very good, and with regard to the development, there is a criticism that only the welfare is going on, but not an emphasis on industry or agriculture or the development of the state. Let us understand that things cannot happen in a overnight. And with regard to the industries, encouragement is given in terms of reviving the MSMEs by clearing their loans, and so there is government is, I think, is thinking in terms of formulating the local industrial policy, new industrial policy, which will suit the local needs, local resources, local manpower and all. Once it is comprehensively done, probably it will take off. Then next, with regard to the development, agriculture is also being thought about very clearly, so that itself is a development. It's not that it's not taking place. Then the third thing is in the tertiary sector. When the development is talked about in the service sector, it is very clearly the self-employment schemes, and also the recruitment for the jobs are also going on. So tertiary sector will also develop. Only the biggest problem for the present government is lack of resources, and budget is very, very clear. And the only thing is that the amount of the debt that is being created in the past is becoming a very big headache, and there are around 40,000 crores bills are pending by the previous government. Out of that, I believe the statistics show that 20,000 crores are already cleared by this present government, and there are other out of 20,000 crores for civil supplies, and also for the power discoms, around 5 crores also being cleared so far. So the present government is, first of all, has the twin objectives. One is clearing the past bills and also trying to generate the new resources. So economy is a big problem to the new state, but the government is trying in its own way to save as much money as possible. That's why they have taken this path of reversing earlier wrong policy. One should not mistake it as a reversing everything, reversing or in a vindictive way. It is not in a vindictive way. It is basically a perspective of saving the money. It is basically reversing the negative governance that went on. So in order to reverse the negative government, they are trying to go for tenders, and also ask for a transparency in terms of constituting a judicial commission to look into the tenders and all. So in order to understand this reverse tenders, it's basically an economic step to save and also augment the resources. And with regard to the capital issue, it is a very complex issue, and the committee is going on by the recent statement of CM Jagan that started off, it would be completed. That should be for the governance. Probably, if it is required, without wasting the earlier resources, he would also see from all the angles and see that the justice is given to the farmers which have given the land there in Amaravati, and probably if it is done in Bangalagiri or whatever is too early to say, and with a vision and then perspective, hope the present government will go in such a way that it will suit to the needs of all the regions and all the peoples, and also to the people who have contributed. So coming back to the once again politics, this is also a politics of commitment, because the way if you look at the composition of the cabinet is also very socially inclusive. They have taken all the castes into their cabinet. The statistics show that the composition is inclusive of all SC/STs, more SC/STs and more BCs than the OCs. And in comparison to the previous government, the cabinet composition of the BCs and SC and SCs are also more, women representation is also more. So, as per the commitment, even the cabinet posts are also given to the deprived sections of society. So whether you take it from the social angle, or whether you take it from the economic angle, or whether you take it from the welfare angle, the present government is showing the signs of its commitment. Only thing one has to see once it is implemented, whether it will go foolproof or not. So my suggestion as a political scientist, without having any bias, objectively, is to see that the opposition also play a constructive role, so that the government state which is really got on lost because of the bifurcation would go in a long way. The opposition would also be appreciated if you go along with the positive things that are going on by the present government. Otherwise, the opposition itself will lose its credibility, and it will lose its vote percentage. So far they have gone. So the present government is in the initial stages, and unnecessarily dubbing them from a religious grounds or with a negative motives would not fetch anything for the opposition itself. So even the ruling parties are also has to look at it from the foolproof point of view to implement the schemes. But what all one can say is that in a 6 months period, the present government is rising to the expectations of the people, and the way the commitment is being shown. So that's how the current politics is going on, and there are no scams, there are no corruption, and the commitment is also shown in terms of constituting a study by the highest institutions like IIM and all that, which is the biggest thing, that to find out how the process of corruption at the grassroots level, the study is being commissioned, and also the call centers are being given. So the question is that there is a thinking pattern in the government circles to see that the system runs in a proper way, and the constitution of advisors and also experts by the government is a step to guide the government. And one thing as a political scientist I can say, that this should not become a parallel power centers to the existing bureaucratic structures. So that's how the current big politics is going run by. It is better for the opposition parties to cut down their negative propaganda, and also ruling parties to continue their commitment, so that it will help all the sections of the society. Thank you.